For more than 20 years, Foreign Minister Sergey Lavrov has stood as the public face of Russia's diplomacy. A veteran who negotiated with the West, spoke at the UN, and helped set Moscow's terms. But now, after a planned summit with the United States suddenly collapsed, the question is, has Lavrov fallen out of favor inside the Kremlin? Let's rewind a little. In October 2025, US President Donald Trump and Russian President Vladimir Putin discussed a potential meeting in Budapest. Preparations for this kind of summit depend on serious back-channel work, and in this case, the work of Lavrov and US Secretary of State Marco Rubio. But something went wrong. According to reports, after a phone call between Lavrov and Rubio, US officials concluded Russia's position had barely changed, and the summit was called off. RBC Ukraine, Anadolu Ajansa, Pravda. So, the summit fails. Russia's chief diplomat is excluded from a key Security Council meeting, and his delegation lead role to the upcoming G20 is assigned to someone else. What does that tell us? Let's dig in. Here are the key elements that media outlets highlight. After the Lavrov-Rubio call, US officials determined that Moscow's stance remained deeply maximalist. In plain language, Russia wasn't ready to give ground, and Washington pulled back. Anadolu Ajansa, +2. Pravda, +2. On 5 November 2025, President Putin chaired a meeting of Russia's Security Council where the topic was drafting proposals for resuming nuclear testing, a dramatic, escalation-oriented move. Lavrov was the only permanent council member absent, and his absence was reportedly agreed upon in advance. Novinita.com. At the same time, Lavrov was removed as the lead of Russia's delegation to the G20 summit. Putin appointed his deputy chief of staff, Maxim Oreshkin, to lead instead. The decision came directly from Kremlin sources. Pravda, +1. Put all that together, and what you have is a diplomat who participated in a high-stakes negotiation, failed to deliver the results, and is subsequently stripped of privileges and presence. In diplomatic circles, this kind of invisibility is rarely accidental. This matters on multiple levels, for Russia, for the US, and for the global order. For Russia, Lavrov has been a fixture. His sidelining suggests that Putin might be shifting strategy, moving away from established channels or signaling frustration with the status quo. Also, by promoting other actors for major events, the Kremlin may be laying the groundwork for a different diplomacy style, one less traditional and more aligned with the presidency or hardline forces. For the US, it complicates things. When the face of diplomacy changes, so do interlocutors, tactics, and expectations. Washington may now face a different Russia, one where the usual channels are weaker and outcome-driven negotiations are less assured. Also, the failed summit signals to the US that Russia may not be ready to change its position significantly, or at least not in the way the US demands. For global diplomacy, it's a warning sign. A major summit canceled, a key diplomat sidelined, and nuclear testing back on the agenda highlight that the age of easy diplomacy is over. If Russia reverts to hardline postures, the risk of escalation increases, not just in Ukraine, but in nuclear arms control, deterrence, and regional stability. Why is Lavrov the one being sidelined? What went wrong? And what does it reveal about Kremlin dynamics? Reason 1. Negotiation failure. Lavrov was reportedly tasked with preparing the summit. When the US concluded that Russia's position remained maximalist, the summit collapsed and Lavrov bore the institutional consequences. The Novinite article described that Putin lost confidence in Lavrov. Reason 2. Changing Russian strategy. With tensions escalating and nuclear testing proposals resurfacing, the Kremlin may be shifting from diplomacy toward coercion or hard power. Lavrov, as a longtime diplomat, may not fit the new image the leadership wants. His absence from the Security Council meeting signals this shift. RBC Ukraine. Let's lay out what to monitor moving forward. Who now leads Russia's diplomacy? If Lavrov is sidelined, who steps in? Will we see a more military-centric face of Russian diplomacy or a younger technocrat? This change may alter how Russia negotiates with the West, Ukraine, NATO, and China. Next US-Russia summit or meeting. Will Trump and Putin meet again?
Under what conditions? The bar for Russia may now be higher, or the terms may shift. Any future meeting will likely come with even more caveats or tougher opening demands. Ukraine war negotiations and ceasefire talks. If the diplomat whose job is diplomacy is sidelined, it suggests diplomacy may be de-emphasized in favor of force. That's especially troubling for Ukraine and its Western backers. Nuclear or arms control developments. The Security Council meeting where nuclear testing resumed discussion is a red flag. It suggests Russia is ready to escalate the strategic stakes. Lavrov's absence from that meeting is symbolic. The diplomat is out, the strategists are in. Internal Kremlin messaging. Watch Lavrov's public profile. Does he disappear entirely? Is he given lesser roles? Or is this a temporary sidelining? Kremlin optics matter. His treatment signals to elite and external audiences what the internal hierarchy now demands.